Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Chill with Will. I'm Will, and we're live tonight. Yeah, man. I was kind of drawing a blank for episodes this week, so decided to just do a live episode because we haven't actually done the show live since season one. So I figured this would be a fun little thing to do tonight. I hope you guys have been doing well. I've been okay. Today was kind of an easy day. I went into work early, so that's also partly why I decided to go live. I figured it would be fun to go live because I do miss doing the show a little bit live sometimes. Um, but yeah, so you might be wondering what we're talking about tonight, and truthfully, I didn't really know until this morning. So we are going to be doing a little bit of ranking today. Mostly because I have been rewatching Degrassi, The Next Generation, because it's all on YouTube, because that's just kind of where things are right now. And I don't know. I've been digging it. I've been digging it, and the show is incredibly unhinged. And I decided why not do something a little bit unhinged with these characters of mostly teenage, junior high age children. So tonight we are ranking just in season one which characters I think are MAGA or not. So yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. It's is it is it meant to be serious? No, we're just having fun. We're being silly. We're being goofy, and we're being stupid. So that's just what we're doing tonight. So yeah, let's without further ado, I suppose let's get into the list. So let's transition into that. Woo! There it is. All right, cool. So we have most of the cast. The tier lists were all kind of different. They had different characters on them. I'm guessing just depending on how detailed they wanted to be for the season. This is the one I landed on. I didn't want to put too many characters because I'm not planning on being here on here very long tonight. I just wanted to do a quick little episode for y'all. So we got about, I think it's a little over 20 characters from the first season. Now, keep in mind, the idea here is these are the characters as they appear in the first season, specifically. So there we go. Make it look a little bit better for y'all. So let's break down the tiers that we have. So we have needs to own the libs, which is obviously the strongest form of MAGA. We have listens to Joe Rogan. We have doesn't get involved in politics, which we all know is usually a little bit of a dog whistle. So they probably are low-key MAGA. You also have, under that, they have gay/black friends. So they kind of got the right idea, but they're still wrong sometimes. And it isn't going to be all doom and gloom. We do have one category, one tier for an ally. So there we go. Those are the 5 tiers, and I suppose let's go down the line and just so you know what characters we got going on. So we got Liberty, we got Emma, we got Miss Kwan, we have Toby, Ashley, Snake, Jimmy. What is this woman's name? She's one of the OGs. I can't remember her friggin' name. Hold on. What's her name? Colin is screaming at the frickin' screen right now. What is her name? Caitlin Ryan. Okay, yeah. Caitlin. All right, Jesus. Sorry. So we have Caitlin Ryan. We have Mr. Armstrong. We have JT. We have Paige. We have Mr. God, I can't remember these fucking people's names. What's the principal's name? What the fuck is the principal's name? Hello? I have the list right here. Hello? Okay. What? Where the? Oh my god. Oh my god, Mr. Raditch. Jesus. All right. I literally just finished watching an episode like a little bit ago. I don't know what the fuck I'm on right now. All right. Mr. Raditch. We have Manny. We have Joey. Then we have Sean. Then we have Sheila, the fucking lunch lady, which I can remember with no fucking problem. Then we have Spike. Then we have Spinner, Terry. And then lastly, we end off with Angela, which is Joey's daughter. Okay, cool. There we go. The hardest part is done. We have all the characters named. So let's get into this. All right, let's start right away. So we're starting strong with Liberty Van Zant. Now, Liberty, I feel like, I don't know. Liberty is kind of snobby. And Liberty is also very self-determined and does tend to look out for herself a lot, at least from what I'm seeing. And she is kind of snobby in a lot of ways. So her not getting involved in politics doesn't really make any sense, because she, like, in like episode 2 or 3, she wants to be treasurer of like the school, so that doesn't make any sense. So I think, even though Liberty can be a little bit snobby, we're gonna put her as an ally. I think she's an ally. Now, moving on to Emma. So Emma is a very big, hippie, tree hugger. She cares about the environment. She's always like down for a cause. And so you might be thinking, like, your initial thought after hearing those things could be, oh, well, obviously Emma Nelson is an ally. But I would argue that in this particular case, Emma Nelson is a bit of a grifter. She exploits these things for a right-wing grift, for her benefit. Because we also know Emma is a little bit manipulative sometimes. So, I think Emma doesn't get involved in politics. I know that seems contrary. That does seem contrary. But I think Emma is more like a wellness influencer vibe. So I feel like it would be that type of thing where she doesn't want to get involved in politics, quote unquote, but she really is getting involved in it all the time via other means that aren't inherently obvious. That makes sense? All right, cool. Now, Miss Kwan is next. Now, I'm going to be honest, I just finished an episode that centered around her, and Spinner and Jimmy kind of like basically torturing her and fucking with her because she dropped Spinner's Discman on the ground because he was listening to it during class, and she was being, I'm not gonna lie, Miss Kwan was being kind of a cunt, and I was like, why the fuck is she being like, I get strict teachers, but she was just being especially, like, I don't know, just kind of mean and aggressive with all the kids. But then you find out at the end of the episode, she ends up taking a leave of absence because she had a breakdown, because she has been working a bunch and also trying to take care of her sick husband. Which, that's that's like the thing about this show that's like honestly great, is they can just do something incredibly unhinged just at the drop of a hat. They could just be doing a very normal thing, and it's just like, oh, it's just like a harmless teacher prank, whatever. She's gonna be upset and whatever. But it's like they have to take it to like an extra degree, and she's just literally crying in front of her car that's like covered in egg, and then you find out like 5 minutes later it's like, oh, it's because she's stressed the fuck out because she has to pick up a bunch of extra work because her husband is sick and possibly dying. And it's just like, oh damn, okay, damn. Like, it goes like off the walls. I mean, the beginning, the first like 2 episodes of this show revolve around Emma talking to a predator on the internet, which is absolutely insane. The show came out in 2001 and it is absolutely insane that they did that for their pilot. But it really does set the precedent for this show, and it's honestly great. But knowing all of that about Miss Kwan and where she is, I think she's stressed out. I don't think she's very hateful. I think she comes across as hateful, but she's really just stressed the fuck out about things. And I think at the end of the day, she really is an ally. So we're going to put her there with Liberty. Now, next up, we have Toby. Toby is giant dorkwad, really. Him and JT are just kind of like the teenage boy cliche of their demographic. They really are. He hasn't really done too much yet. He's had like a few like cute moments with Ashley or whatever because they're step siblings. But in terms of like how he is here, I think it's very low key just because I think it's the demographic, and him and JT are so prone to peer pressure. I think they would fall into this. I think Toby listens to Joe Rogan. I think he's pretty MAGA. It's low key, but he's pretty MAGA. Like, he listens to it. He doesn't tell anyone that he listens to it, but it is in his rotation regularly, and he's not mad about any of it. So that's what I would say for Toby. Now, Ashley, mostly we get that she gets smothered by Jimmy in like an episode, and we find out her dad's gay, and that's part of why her parents divorced. And I think it would be obvious to be an ally, but I think there just might be all this information is still new to her. This is all still new to Ashley, and we have to keep in mind that when we're ranking these guys, we're taking them as they are in season 1. There's 9 seasons of The Next Generation, and these characters go through peaks and valleys and all kinds of different shit as they go through junior high and high school. So they become very different people. But Ashley, as she is right now, I would honestly put her in they have gay/black friends. I think maybe Jimmy, it partly plays into that. So her dad's gay, her boyfriend's black. I think it's just sort of a move on her part to like try and portray something. So that's kind of where Ashley lands in my eyes. So next we have Snake, one of the OGs from the original series. And Snake is just sort of, I don't know, he hasn't really done anything interesting yet. Snake is just kind of sort of a generic teacher, really. He's had a few good moments with some of the older cast members on the show, but it's nothing too crazy going on yet. In terms of where I think he would land in terms of MAGA, I think he's another one like Emma where he doesn't get involved in politics. I feel like he tries to maintain that so he can be neutral when it comes to being a teacher at school. So that's where I'm gonna put Snake. I think he's just the type of guy who says he doesn't really get involved, but he really has a lot of opinions. So yeah, let's go with that. Okay, fucking true. Yeah, thank you, Hawk. I don't know who you're talking about, but yes, I agree, because I said it. Uh, so next, we have Jimmy. Jimmy, can I be honest with you guys? Like, I've been watching this show. It is really hard for me to separate, like, Jimmy the character from Aubrey the person. It's just like I just look at this person and I just like totally get creeped the fuck out now. Even his 12-year-old self, it just makes me uneasy. But all that aside, let's figure out where Jimmy lands in all of this. I think the obvious answer is because Jimmy is a teenage boy, he listens to Joe Rogan. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're talking about Ashley. Okay. Yeah. See. Exactly. Exactly. See, how can you be racist? You know me. Exactly. It's very much that T. It's that whole mindset. I feel like Ashley would do that. Jimmy, on the other hand, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it more, I think Jimmy would land in the same category because I think he also understands what his relationship with Ashley is. I think they have a mutual understanding, and that's why they work so well together. They have gay slash black friends. Like he would, we understand. If I'm thinking about the future, again, thinking about the future, but we have to take these characters as they are in season one. I think right now maybe they would be like, I have gay slash black friends, but not right away. Does that make sense? I don't know. Whatever. I may be drinking something, and that might be having an effect on what's going on right now. So just keep that in mind. It's something very strong, but yeah. And for legal purposes, it's not alcoholic. So there we go. Next up, we have the woman's name that I already forgot. She's from the first episode. She's from the original series. I cannot remember her fucking name. Colin's gonna hate this episode because, like, Caitlin Ryan. Jesus. Okay. Caitlin Ryan. What do we think about Caitlin motherfucking Ryan? I think Caitlin Ryan. You know what? I don't think she's just very. I think I'm just doing this out of boredom. I think she's just an ally. Fake fan. Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we're both fake fans. So I guess we're both fake fans. So it's fine. Next up, we have Mr. Armstrong. Does Mr. Armstrong top everyone and become MAGA? Does it like full blown? Does he need to own the libs? I don't think so. I don't think so. Like I think some of these answers are obvious, right? Like some of these are totally obvious, but I think Mr. Armstrong, Coach Armstrong, whichever title you wanna give him, I think he listens to Joe Rogan. I don't think he tells any of the students about it, but he definitely listens to Joe Rogan, but only sometimes. And yeah, that's where Coach Armstrong lands. JT pretty much does whatever Toby does, so he would also listen to Joe Rogan. I think out of the two, I think JT would be the more impressionable one and would be more likely to act out on some of the stupid shit that Joe Rogan says. So I think JT would go along with it a lot harder. In fact, we'll put him up in the tier. I don't know if the placements actually mean anything, but I'm going to change the rules and say that they do. So I would say JT would listen to Joe Rogan and act out on a lot of the stupid shit he says. Does that sound fair? All right, cool. Next up is Paige. So JT cried for Kirk. Exactly. Yeah. He like really gets into those debates, quote unquote. So next up is Paige, and I think this answer is obvious, right? I think this answer is obvious. This is just like Paige is MAGA. Like, she'll be polite about it. Like, polite, whatever the fuck that even means. But, like, hun, we all know. We all know, hun. But yeah, she's definitely MAGA. It's like, she's as MAGA as the sun is bright. What? Whatever. This is getting off the wall. I'm glad we're almost done because this is already going crazy. All right. Next up is Principal. What the fuck is his name? I already forgot it again. Principal Radich. Jesus, Principal Radich. Okay. Principal Radich. Where does he lie? He hasn't done too much, honestly. He's only appeared in like a handful of scenes. So I haven't really gotten to really get a good pulse on his character. And I'm already like almost done with the season. So I feel like what I see right now is what I'm going to get with him. So I think he is a man like Snake who just doesn't get involved in politics because he's an authority figure to the children and he feels like he has to remain neutral about everything. So we're going to put Principal Radich there. Manny. I feel like Manny would... I feel like because Emma is so, like, low-key in a lot of her beliefs, she has to come across a little bit stronger or louder in order to actually be seen. So, actually, I think I would put Manny in Needs to Own the Libs. I think I would put her with Paige with that. She'd be below Paige because I think Paige is the top of this. But I think she would be. She would be, because I think also she's Filipino, so that would be sort of not a red herring, but it'd just be a surprise. Because, like, whenever anyone of color it turns out to be MAGA, it's surprising. So, but I think in Manny's case, it would be especially surprising. Because also, I think her family are immigrants. So I feel like that would be the case with Manny. Next up, we have Joey, another one of the original cast members. I think Joey has gay/black friends. I think he doesn't really, like, get it all in terms of, like, the gay. But, you know, he's kind of there. He's almost completely an ally. He's just very teetering between they have gay/black friends and an ally. He's almost there. Like, he's almost an ally, but he just falls short a little bit. That's why he's on the bottom of the tier for these guys. Next up, we have Sean. Now, I think Sean doesn't get involved in politics, just like Emma, because, you know, obviously they're, you know, the pair of the show. But I think he doesn't really... Joey, we did it the right way. Yes, exactly that. I think Sean doesn't get involved in politics in a more laid-back way than Emma. Because we all know Emma is very opinionated. But I think Sean is just as opinionated, but he doesn't express it at all, like to any kind of meaningful degree. And he would rather not really engage unless someone else is attached to it. So I think he genuinely doesn't get involved in politics. And so that's where I will put Sean. Next up, we have Sheila, the lunch lady. I don't know why she's on this list. I think it's really funny. But I think she hates Spinner, which I think is, like, kind of funny. Honestly, a lot of the teachers in the show do not like Spinner, which is fair because, like, Spinner in this season is just kind of a bully and a dick, and that's just sort of his bag. But it is just kind of hilarious how all of the teachers visibly do not like him and actively like basically tell him to his face, it's like, you're kind of a nuisance and we actually don't like being around you. It's actually kind of insane. So Sheila, I don't think this woman could be MAGA. She comes across as kind of a hard ass, and she does give Spinner a lot of shit. But I think at the end of the day, this woman is an ally. And you know what? I'm going to put her above Liberty. I think she's going to be the top of the allies. Sheila, you did that, girl. You really are out here fighting for us, and we appreciate you. So next up, we have Spike, another one of the OG cast members. Now, I think Spike sort of falls into the same category with Joey. I think a lot of this, because like they're 80s kids, right? So I think like they're conservative, but it's like lightly conservative. And so I think Spike would just be a tinge above Joey in terms of like they have gay/black friends. But ultimately, I think she's like on the verge of being an ally. I think she would be very supportive. She knows what it's like to face adversity a lot, being a single mother and all that. So I think she gets it at the end of the day. So that's where she's going to land. Next up, we have Spinner. And I think Spinner just always needs to prove a point. And he would definitely need to own the libs constantly. Snake, you said that's an American thing. Exactly. That's an American thing. Exactly. Right, you get it. But yeah, Spinner is always having to prove a point. There's like a couple episodes dedicated to him just kind of like trying to prove a point even when he's wrong. And even when he's right, he just does it in such a stupid way because he's a child and he doesn't know how to go about it and navigate any of it. So, you kind of feel bad for him. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is, and he needs to own the libs. We're nearing the end of this, and we have Terry. Terry... I feel like Terry, she kind of does whatever people need her to do. And so for that reason, I would kind of put her not completely MAGA, but I think she listens to Joe Rogan. I think because like she hears like some of her other friends are like listening to it, she decides to take a chance on it and do it as well. And she sort of follows the crowd. That's just sort of her thing. She does like succumb to peer pressure a lot, and she's like always just like kind of a degree under Paige in like pretty much everything she does. So I think that's where Terry would fall. She listens to Joe Rogan, but mostly because all of her friends do. And lastly, we have an actual child. We have Angela, Joey's daughter, and I don't. does this actual child do anything important in this season? Probably not. I saw her in a couple scenes with Joey, but she didn't really do much, and she's also a child, so I don't think this child is capable of being MAGA. So Angela is going to the top of the ally pool, and I know you probably might be thinking I might try and do something funny with that, but I mean that's a child. That's a child, y'all. I'm not fucking with that. That's an innocent child. She's the biggest ally in the tiniest body out of everyone there, so we love her. So yeah, there we go. So I guess we'll just recap for those of you who are listening. So in the needs to own the libs categories, up at the top we have Paige, next we have Spinner, and then we have Manny. Then in the second tier, listens to Joe Rogan, we have Angela. Don't remember the second A in MAGA. Exactly. She thinks it's MAGA. That's what she thinks it is. So in the second category, we have JT, Toby, Coach Armstrong, and Terry. In the third tier, doesn't get involved in politics. Up at the top, we have Emma, Sean, Snake, and Principal Radich. And then we have the fourth tier. They have gay/black friends. We have Ashley, Jimmy, Spike, and Joey. And at the end, with the ally category, we have Angela, Sheila, Miss Kwan, Liberty, and the woman's name that I totally forgot again. Oh my god, this is ridiculous. What's her name? I'm looking at the list and I can just never find it when I need it. Caitlin Ryan. There we go. All right, not even gonna get mad about that because it's so ridiculous. But yeah, here you go. That's my list. I have linked this tier in the description box of this episode on YouTube. So if you would like to make your own, you are more than welcome to do that. And if you want to screenshot that and send them to me on any of the social media things, you are more than welcome to do that as well. I think that would be plenty entertaining for me, and maybe I'll share some of them on the just sort of anywhere I find it appropriate to share those things. So, yeah, man. Man, that ended up being like actually pretty even. I'm very surprised. I did not intend to like do it evenly. I thought there'd be a little bit more nonsense in terms of the question, in terms of the placements, but I think I'm pretty happy with how everyone landed. Yeah, we'll see how that changes. I think I might do this again for season 2 because I think this will give me an incentive to finish rewatching the show. So I think we might revisit this when I finish up season 2. So let me get rid of the tier and go back to me. So yeah, I think that's where we're gonna end it tonight, you guys. I just wanted to do a quick little thing for y'all and just kind of be silly. I've been talking about a lot of heavier shit on the show recently, and I just kind of wanted to take some time to shoot the shit and just have some fun. I also just kind of miss like streaming, so yeah, that's partly why I wanted to do the episode in this particular way. I think there was a degree of fun to this, just being able to hop on live and just, talk and share some of this with you all. So yeah, well anyway, we're gonna end it here because I'm already getting tongue-tied because of this thing that I'm drinking. So we're gonna end it here. So if you enjoyed the episode and you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel and you would like to see more episodes, make sure you hit subscribe to catch new episodes when those do come out. They do come out on Fridays. It's either going to be a live stream or a pre-recorded thing, one or the other. If you're listening to this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please rate and review the podcast. You can also leave comments on Spotify. If those are all things you'd like to do, please go ahead and do those things. If you want to keep up with me anywhere else, I got all my links to social media down in the description box. It's pretty much anything at Willie J. Co. is usually me. So also, if you want to send me those tier lists, again, that is linked in the description of this YouTube episode. So I think that will be it tonight, you guys. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time for another Friday Night Chill.